Good morning. Again, my name is Sean McCormack. I'm the District Attorney here in Cumberland County. This morning, members of the Cumberland County Drug Task Force and other law enforcement agencies fanned out across Cumberland and Dauphin counties as part of Operation Speed Bump to serve arrest warrants for 31 individuals for the unlawful delivery of controlled substances here in Cumberland County. The 31 arrest warrants that are being served today are in addition to the 24 arrests that we have already made leading up to today. The following departments assisted us throughout this investigation. The investigation was spearheaded by our Cumberland County Drug Task Force in conjunction with Carlisle Borough Police Department, the Cumberland County Criminal Investigation Division, the Cumberland County Sheriff's Department, the Pennsylvania State Police, the Carlisle Barracks and Troop H Vice Unit, the West Shore Regional Police Department, the Upper Allen Township Police Department, the Lower Allen Township Police Department, the Mechanicsburg Borough Police Department, the East Pennsboro Township Police Department, Cumberland County Probation, and the United States Marshals. We also had the Dauphin County Drug Task Force assisting us today with this investigation and these arrests. I also want to give special thanks to Magisterial District Judge Daniel Friedman and his staff. MDJ Friedman is the one who is processing and arraigning any of the people that we are arresting today. And the prosecutions for these cases will be going through his office. I also want to thank the Cumberland County Forensic Division and the Cumberland County Prison and the Booking Center, which is where these individuals will be taken upon arrest. A little bit about Operation Speed Bump. Operation Speed Bump began in January of 2024 as a result of an increase in overdoses and the emergence of methamphetamine in a form not consistent with locally produced product. What I mean by that is not what we frequently call home cooked or something that's being made and manufactured here locally, but something being imported into Cumberland County from outside of the county. What the detectives are telling me is that the quality of the methamphetamine and the quantity that they are currently seizing is consistent with methamphetamine being produced by cartels in Mexico and smuggled into the United States. Give you an idea of some of the things that have taken place during the course of this investigation, the seizures, the purchases, and ultimately the arrests that we are conducting here today. During this investigation, cocaine and crack cocaine, we seized 316 grams of crack cocaine and cocaine. Methamphetamine, which was the main target of this investigation, an incredible amount of 7,751 grams, or roughly 17 pounds of methamphetamine has been seized or taken during search warrants or purchased during this operation. Heroin and fentanyl, we seized 9 grams. We executed 25 search warrants as a result of this investigation. Prior to today, there were 24 arrests that we made. This morning, we fanned out to serve 31 arrest warrants, and currently detectives are out on the streets right now attempting to serve those warrants. That would give us a total of 55 arrest or arrest warrants that are a result of this operation, Operation Speed Bump. The Cumberland County Drug Task Force is comprised of officers from police departments in Cumberland County that I mentioned earlier. This multi-jurisdictional task force is a model of how we need to conduct these investigations. No one department in Cumberland County has the resources to properly conduct an investigation of this nature or size. Drug dealers do not respect jurisdictional boundaries. We cannot have our investigations dictated by those boundaries. Just as we did today, we partner with law enforcement agencies and the United States Marshals Service across the river in Dauphin County to assist us in arresting individuals from Dauphin County who frequently come across the river to prey upon Cumberland County residents. It wasn't just Dauphin County individuals that were being arrested today. We were also arresting individuals here in Cumberland County and in particular in Carlisle. I want to especially thank the supervisors and commissioners of those jurisdictions that contribute members from their department to our drug task force. Our drug task force is comprised of officers from other police departments here in Cumberland County. They come together to work together to pool their resources to do these types of investigations. Without the support of the township and borough supervisors and commissioners, we would not be able to conduct an operation like this. The jurisdictions that form the core of our drug task force is the Lower Allen Township, West Shore Regional Police, and Mechanicsburg Borough. They all contribute a full-time detective to the task force. Carlisle Borough, East Pennsboro, Upper Allen Township, and Silver Spring Township all participate on a part-time basis, but even though they're part-time, they're very important members of this task force. So that's the conclusion of this briefing. I'll certainly entertain any questions that you have about this operation. Up here we have on the board 23, I believe it's 23 of the arrest warrants that we are attempting to serve today. Not everybody on this board is currently in custody. We are still looking for a number of these individuals. This is a massive operation whenever you have trying to arrest all these people at the same time across in fact, in this case, two counties. We'll be at this all day trying to arrest these individuals. There were other individuals who, in the days we were operating right up until yesterday, doing these investigations. So there's other individuals that we don't have on the board that are also part of that 31 warrants that we're attempting to serve today.
Can you break down again just how many are in custody already and how many? Is it 31?
Well, previously we made 24 arrests. All right, so we started today with those 24 already arrested and served, and some of those have been released on bail. Other ones are currently in the Cumberland County Prison. Today, I think thus far this morning, I think we may have upwards of 10 people in custody.
Over 10.
A little over 10 people this morning in custody. And again, as I'm giving this briefing, we actually have teams out there attempting to serve these warrants, and we'll continue to beyond today. This is a process that will continue until we get everybody.
More than 30 people are in custody already.
More than 30 people have been arrested at this point in time. The remaining one are arrest warrants that have been sworn and are active, and we're looking for those individuals.
So how many altogether are you still looking to arrest? Over 20?
Over 20?
We're probably just under 20 right now.
Okay.
I don't have a live update for you. I can walk back and tell you in the week. But we do have 4 or 5 that are in custody currently that will be arraigned either at Cumberland County Prison or actually 2 at the state prisons.
Okay.
And all 55 of these people are living in Dauphin or Cumberland counties only, no one outside of that?
I believe they're in, either Cumberland County or Dauphin County. What we did this morning was we broke into two groups. We had one based here in Carlisle out of this building, and then we had another one based on the West Shore that was looking at both Cumberland County, the West Shore of Cumberland County, and the city of Harrisburg and Dauphin County. And we had big assistance from the United States Marshals Service in doing this morning.
Can you talk about the extent of the crimes that they are alleged to have committed? Like, is it all dealing, or what is?
So these arrests that we're announcing today have to do with the dealing, mainly where we have made undercover buys from these individuals. What we started noticing towards the end of last year and especially at the beginning of this year was a lot of methamphetamine was being sold. It doesn't mean fentanyl and heroin are not being sold, but we noticed an influx and a surge in methamphetamine, so we began focusing on methamphetamine. What really caught our interest was the quality of the drugs that we were seeing. We recognized it, and some of it has been sent down to DEA to test. And we're being told that this is consistent with product that is being made outside of the United States and smuggled into the United States. So, I mean, that's one of the things that definitely concerns us. And the quantities that are coming in have driven the price down. With the driving of the price down, it increases the number of people seeking that drug because it's much cheaper than it once was a few years ago. To give you an example, right now, for a, let's see, is it, these figures you gave me, Kenny, is it ounces or grams?
Grams going between $60 and $80,
Grams are between $60 and $80.
and an ounce is at 150 opposed to 1,000 several years ago.
So, 4 or 5 years ago, when we were purchasing these drugs, it was $800 to $1,000 we were spending during those purchases. In recent times, when we're looking for an ounce of this, we're talking about $150 to $200. It's a much lower cost, and that tells us that the market is flooded here currently.
I know you said that right now these charges are dealing charges, but you said this started because of an increase in overdoses. Is there potential for these charges to be upped to attempted homicide charges?
The arrests that we're talking about today are not related, to the best of my knowledge, to current investigations into drug dealing resulting in death. If something develops from that, that's certainly something we'll look at. But this operation was more targeting the people that are actually selling it on the street right now. It wasn't triggered by any one particular case or death. But certainly, and one thing I want to highlight with the Drug Task Force, when we do have an overdose death, the Drug Task Force here in Cumberland County, because they have the expertise in these types of investigation, often take the lead, no matter where it is in the county, with these investigations.
With the drugs coming from the Mexican cartels, is that something that's unique in this situation, or do you see that like a lot with different types of drugs that are smuggled in, or like how are other drugs coming in?
I think, and you see it on the national news, this is not something that's just unique with this particular drug. Fentanyl is one of the ones that you see. A lot of the news reports talk about at least the components from fentanyl starting in China, going to Mexico, and then coming up into the United States. So methamphetamine is not the only one, but it's one that people are currently making a profit on. They're making a profit on the death and serious use that people unfortunately are suffering here with the drugs that are being sold in our community.
And with that being said, what would be your message to maybe somebody that is currently using methamphetamine to be a little bit more aware? Are we getting them off the streets? Are they stronger, more likely to overdose? What would be your message to people that might be using these drugs in the community?
I think our message, and it's a tough message because, substance use disorder it's not easy. It'd be nice to say, oh, you just stop. You don't have to, just don't do it. It's not that easy. In fact, we have here in Cumberland County 2 specialty courts that are dedicated to helping people that have been arrested get off of and get away from the use of these drugs. So it's not a simple solution. We are looking at different things. There are partnerships I'm looking into. Potentially the Attorney General's office has a program that partners the police with treatment facilities to try to divert people out of the criminal justice system, potentially into treatment. But ultimately, the people that are using the drugs have to be committed to getting off the drugs. I can say over and over again, and you can see on the news every night about people dying from fentanyl, but there are still people that are going to take that risk. So it's not, there is no one easy solution, but it's certainly something we're focused on.
Right, but I know you said that this is kind of a different strain than what you see maybe people making it at home. Does that pose more of a danger to the users because of the strength of the drug that might be getting imported into our community?
It's always a situation where if someone is used to a particular strength, and suddenly there's a new strength that comes onto the market that people are at risk, I'm going to use the same amount that I used to use, and now that new amount that's much purer is going to cause them to overdose and potentially die. This is something that didn't happen overnight here in Cumberland County and the mid-state in Pennsylvania. This is something that has been creeping over the past few years into our community. The increase in this very pure type of methamphetamine.
Thinking a little around the prevalency of like how available this was. I mean, it sounds like this was like this number of arrests. I mean, this was something that was pretty commonly available.
I would say so. Would you agree, Kenny?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say that this is something that's readily available on the street. You see ebbs and flows of popularity in particular drugs. A few years ago, it seemed almost like we were talking about heroin and fentanyl. And then we started seeing fentanyl cut into all sorts of other drugs, cocaine, marijuana. We saw fentanyl just popping up everywhere. Then we had xylazine, which we started to see coming into our community. And methamphetamine has been there. It's never gone away. It's just at this point in time, there's a very high quality, mass-produced product that is being imported into our community. And it's not something that we can settle here with these arrests all by ourselves. This is just part of the process. We need cooperation not only here on the local level, but we need a cooperation across the state and across the nation to really combat this situation.
Ultimately, what is the immediate impact on the market?
Well, I mean, the immediate impact is, there are people out there that are using, that are going to these people to buy. So their usual seller is being taken off the market. I am not naive to think we remove these people from the street, suddenly there's nobody selling. But it does put a dent in the availability of this drug here in Cumberland County for a period of time. And this operation, this is the first phase of this operation. We are not stopping today. Today is an opportunity to kind of shed the light on what we have been doing here in Cumberland County and kind of put a warning out there. But we're going to continue to work this issue and to try to put a stop to the sale of illegal substances here in Cumberland County.
Touching on that, is there any specific statement or message you want to get out there to like the other, other dealers or something people like that for this operation? So what's the impact you want?
Well, it's always the message is always beware, whether it be human trafficking or undercover drug operations and investigations. Who are you selling to? Beware. We could be the ones that are coming and knocking on your door. That's and they know that that's a risk. They know that's a risk. And today we're showing that it's not just a risk, it's a reality.
Why is the strategy to arrest all these people all at once and not over time?
Well, we have been arresting over time. We've just reached a point in this operation. It reached a natural conclusion for this phase of the investigation that today we were ready to kind of, because you will see with the criminal complaints, some of the buys that we made have actually occurred. They didn't just occur in the last couple days. Some of them have occurred in previous months. And it takes time. You know, we submit the drugs for testing. There's a lot of things that go into making an arrest. We reached the point today where we were ready to move on these individuals, in addition to the people that we have been arresting along the way.
Is it easier for you guys to do it kind of like in a bulk setting when you have all that?
It can be, although there's a lot that goes into it. The head of the drug task force is behind you, and he is shaking his head there because he knows all the effort that went into today's operation. It's a lot of coordination. But, you know, with being able to say, hey, here are the people that we're looking for, here are the people that we have arrested, and getting this word out helps us to make these arrests and ultimately do these prosecutions. Richard Berner is an assistant district attorney in my office. He's standing up here with me. He's the designee from my office to the drug task force, and he's the person that will ultimately be prosecuting these cases when they get into court. And again, they're going to be prosecuted through Magisterial District Judge Daniel Friedman, who's was designated by the court to be the central MDJ handling these cases.
Do you know how many meth overdoses you've had in Cumberland County?
That unfortunately, I was thinking about that this morning, and I don't have that number. I do know from what I read recently is that the coroner has indicated that there has been a slight decrease in the number of overdoses this year, and that certainly is a good sign. But you know, you can't look at something and say, okay, we can take our foot off the pedal and just kind of relax. It's something you have to continuously work on, because when you stop looking at a particular area and divert your attention to somewhere else, that's where things pop back up, and that's what we're trying to avoid.
Do you have any idea if there was like a specific route people were using to get them into Cumberland County? Or if that was involved?
That I can't talk to. I can't speak to that. You know, a lot of times what happens is the bigger cities, so dealers from this area go to the bigger cities, they resupply, they come back here, they sell either directly themselves or they supply a network of people here. But a lot of times that's where it's coming from.
Is there a particular part of Cumberland County that this was like a bigger issue than other parts, or is it kind of spread out?
It's kind of spread out. You know, when we look at illegal drug usage and sales here in Cumberland County, it's across the county, and sometimes you'd be surprised the neighborhoods where we're doing some of these arrests. They're not all poor areas. You know, sometimes we're in affluent areas. And the people that, you know, I think a year or 2 years ago, you know, we arrested a Harrisburg police officer for purchase of drugs here in Cumberland County, and this is not a problem that is just isolated to one you know, group of people. It cuts across the board. You know, doesn't matter what you earn or anything like that. All right. Any final questions?
Why call it Operation Speed Bump?
Well, speed is one of the nicknames for methamphetamine, and we're trying to put us to slow down and stop it. So speed bump. All right. Thank you.